live.
You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
Meeting. No, we're not back in the pandemic, but Justin is not here. He's no longer with us for today, as he likes to say. Instead, we have two legends of local sports here. They're going to get upset because I call them stuff like that, but we got the voice of Grace Harbor Sports, Ian Cope. We also have former legendary Daily World Sports editor Rob Burns with us here, along with producer Andrew, making sure everything runs well. If it doesn't, we can blame him because I definitely don't know what's going on. But guys, thank you for joining us today, filling in for what both Justin and I, who are sick, but I'm still kind of here.
Good to be with you.
Good to be here.
All right. Our show today is sponsored, as always, by Spivey Realty Group and the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
No relation.
Yeah. What's the A stand for? I still don't know. He still won't tell me. Anyway, bit of a different show here today. We also are confined to Zoom meeting time. So if you have listened to our show before and thought, man, these guys talk way too much and nobody wants to listen to them for that long, have we got a show for you? We are constrained to 40 minutes of a free Zoom meeting. So we're going to get things going with Justin's favorite part of the show, which is now going to be my favorite part of the show, which is Stump Daniel, except for I'm going to be stumping Ian and Rob, hopefully. And yeah, we can fire up the theme music if everything's working okay.
Serving
Andrew.
questions up on a silver platter where the points are made up and the rules don't matter. Time for Stump Daniel.
Ian and Rob. Okay. Since I noticed that Rob, as I assumed, is wearing San Francisco gear, that's a Giants hat, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, I'll start you off with a Giants question then.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
These questions vary in difficulty a lot because I just kind of went and grabbed them. So we'll see what happens here. All right. In 1968 and 1969, this Giants slugger led the National League in both home runs and runs batted in. Can you name this superstar?
Willie McCovey.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you're correct. Yes, it was McCovey. All right, we got 1 point for Rob. I will call that a 1-pointer. That one seemed fairly easy, even though it was a long time ago. But
even I knew that one. So
okay. All right, Ian. You aren't wearing any garb today, and I don't see any Cougar gear in the background. So because of that, which is odd. But I'm going to start you off with a team that you have constantly told me is one of your favorites.
Okay.
So in Super Bowl 25, the Bills became the first team in Super Bowl history to lose by what?
1 point.
That is correct. Bonus question. True or false, Scott Norwood's 47-yard field goal would have set a Super Bowl record.
That would be false. At that time, I think the Super Bowl record was 48 by Rich Karlis.
You are incorrect. But that was just a bonus question, so you also have 1 point. Okay, so both of you guys got it right. We'll pop back to Rob, and we'll stick with the Giants. This one seems a bit tougher, to me at least, but who knows? And let's see, who did the Giants trade away mid-season to make room for the future 2010 Rookie of the Year, Buster Posey? Who did they trade away to make room for him? This seems like a tough one because it's one of those, like, Buster Posey isn't the answer to the question. He's just part of it. So this is a 3-pointer.
I can see his face, but I can't come up with his name, so I have to pass. I'm sorry. I see his face. I really do. I just can't. I can't come up with the name.
Rob, what position did he play? Do you know?
Well, it's making room for him, so it's a catcher.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it was a catcher. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You are going to kick yourself after listening to this, but I do appreciate you just giving up quickly since we're on a time crunch. The answer is Benji Molina. Is that who you were thinking of, Rob?
It actually was who I was thinking of, but I wasn't even close to sure.
Gotcha.
I was thinking it was one of the Molinas, and it was like I see his face. It's like, all right, I can't. I don't. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. All right, Ian.
I'm not sure if I have any questions that hard for Ian, but this one, I think he's going to get this one pretty easy. Who was the quarterback that led the Bills in the biggest comeback in NFL history? I'm pretty sure you probably.
That would be current Carolina Panthers head coach Frank Reich.
Oh, that is correct. You threw in the bonus trivia there. All right, Rob. We're going to take you to your beloved San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
In what year were the 49ers founded? Give you
1950.
1950?
1950.
That is incorrect. You were 4 years off. That was a tough one, too. 1946 is the correct answer there.
Don't tell me they went into the NFL or the AAFL in 50. That's the number I have stuck in my head right now. No. That's too fast. We gotta move. Go on.
Okay, so
it's okay. Hey,
Andrew.
Hey, we need to hit Ian's spots here, huh?
Yeah, Andrew, look that up. What year did the 49ers? What was 1950 with that? Okay. All right, Ian.
Yes, sir.
What WSU Cougar? Gosh, did you ever struggle with saying WSU? What Wazoo Cougar? What?
WSU. I mean, it rolls off the tongue.
What Coug sophomore threw for 1,967 yards in 2000 before suffering a broken leg?
In 2000, that would be Jason Gesser, I think. In 2000? Yeah, 2000. That'd be Gesser.
You are correct. And his son is now a sophomore at Seton Catholic.
He is.
Yes. So we have a chance to see Gesser. Did you interview Gesser, by the way, last year?
I did. I actually had a class with him. I was a senior and he was a freshman. So
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Last question, Rob. This is a 3-pointer.
Oh, no. Okay.
I'm giving you the tough ones.
I got the tough ones.
That's true.
Go ahead.
How many 49er quarterbacks were inducted into the Hall of Fame in the 20th century? They were inducted into the Hall of Fame in the 20th century. This is a tough question.
I can come up with 4 of them, but that's it.
This is also a trick question because it's only one.
Oh, really? I was going to say Zip.
Only Y.A. Tittle, inducted in 1971, was inducted in the 20th century. Although Joe Montana and Steve Young played in that century, they weren't inducted until the 21st century.
21st century. I knew. I didn't think of any of those two, but I was thinking Y.A. Tittle, Brody, and
I think Brody's a Hall of Famer, is he?
I don't think he is.
Yeah.
He should be.
Really? Well, we could do an entire show on that one.
I feel a little bad, but not bad because you're a San Francisco fan, so I don't feel bad about giving you all the hard questions because I'm just tossing up another softie for Ian. I feel like here. What former Mariner hit for the cycle multiple times?
Oy. Oh God! Well, it wasn't Buhner. A-Rod, maybe. I mean, multiple times with the Mariners, multiple times in his career.
Multiple times in his career.
I'm gonna say Rodriguez. Alex Rodriguez.
Oh, I thought this was a softball, but it was not.
Oh, who was it?
John Olerud, former Wazoo Cougar.
Oh, of course. I should have known you'd throw a Cougar in there with me.
Exactly. That was the point of it.
Oh, well. I am inadequate.
Olerud hit for the cycle in Montreal in 1997. He hit for the cycle with the Expos, and he also did it. No, for the Mets. Sorry. Oh wait, no. That list is confusing and weird. Anyway, he did it twice.
He did it against the Padres in 2001. I remember that. I think it was 2001.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes, in 2001. Yes, it was against the Padres.
Yeah.
Good memory. All right, that's going to do it for Stump Daniel. Ian is the winner, although we will mention that the level of difficulty was a little harder for Rob.
Well, the questions are made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, that's a good
There
point.
you go. So, in other words, it didn't matter. Ian won then.
Yeah. All right. We are going to take a quick commercial break and then get into the meat of our show today, our local sports discussion. But first, a word from our sponsors, of which we do not know the middle name.
Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com.
Thank you again to our sponsors, the Law Office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz and the Spivey Realty Group. Now, we're going to do things a little bit differently. As I mentioned before, no Justin with us today, so that means the very long and fully researched local sports roundup is not with us. So we will start things off. You all went to, well, three of you, Justin, Ian, and Rob, all went to a soccer match. And that's where we're going to start because these are, I feel like, not only two of the best teams in the area when it comes to high school girls soccer, but the Elma Eagles and Montesano Bulldogs, I feel like, are both teams that could do some damage in the state tournament. And I'm wanting to know what were your guys' takeaways from that game? Was that Thursday night at Jack Roddle?
Yeah, Thursday night at Jack Roddle. I think that this is to throw something to Rob here back in the 90s when the Cowboys and the 49ers met in a regular season, they'd always say, "We're going to see you again." I think that Elma and Montesano could both say that as they were going through their handshakes. They're going to see each other again, definitely in the district tournament, I'd say, and then in all likelihood they could meet again in the state tournament, and that would seem a fitting way for this rivalry to play out. Both outstanding teams and both played well in this game. Elma just got the one shot on goal that was able to go through.
Yeah, it was a nice little sneaky goal, wasn't it? She had the Montesano goalkeeper was shielded by two of her defenders, and Seaberg just happened to be at the right spot and delivered a nice skipping shot into the lower corner. I mean, there aren't too many goalkeepers that would have gotten that one. So, I mean, that was a wonderful goal. But the rest of it was, I mean, it was a rivalry match. Neither team gave really the other much room to operate. I know Montesano was missing a few players, but also Montesano had everything clinched up. So maybe, human nature, maybe a slight, ever so slight, let down. But, when you go up against a rival, you tend to get juiced back up again. So,
yeah, I thought they played just about as well as they could offensively, considering the fact they were missing Addie Kersker and they were missing Michaela Stanfield. They still got 2 quality looks at the goal, and Emmy Spencer basically saved the Elma Eagles bacon in this one. She was outstanding in that game.
Exactly. Ian, you've seen it before, and I know, others have seen it, especially in soccer. Sometimes a hot goalkeeper who's standing on their head can make the difference, and that really was the case. That really was the case Thursday night. Emmy Spencer pretty much was a wall, a fearless wall.
I think that's probably one of the reasons why we have a nomination for her as an athlete of the week contender this week, with that clean sheet over Monty. But this is a kid who not only have we been hearing her name for forever, but gosh, she just proves it game after game, year after year. It feels like that she's one of the best athletes, not just one of the best goalkeepers, but in whatever sport she plays, shoot, from soccer to rodeo stuff that she does, she's one of the best athletes in the harbor.
If you're going to put yourself on top of a horse or a bull, fearless goes without saying in that case. But to be a keeper, as you said, Rob, you got to charge down a player who's coming at you with the intent of blistering a shot past you. You've got to be fearless, and Emmy has definitely been that. And I think Evan Valentine, I haven't seen every 1A goalkeeper play, so I can't say. But he was of the opinion that she's the best 1A keeper in the state, and the way she played on Thursday night, she definitely could lay claim to that.
Yeah, her gameplay, especially Thursday night, was you know what, you have to put her in the conversation, even if you haven't seen the rest of the state. And you know how the 1As, especially in soccer, there's a lot of private schools sitting in there with a lot of what you call club backing. Well, you know what? Both Monty and Elma have a little bit of that, club backing with the goals, and that's kind of beginning to show a little bit. There's going to be some upward mobility, definitely. And you know what? Emmy absolutely showed that the work that is being put in the off season, when she's not basically ripping up the equestrian rings throughout Southwest Washington, she's put in the work, and I think she truly deserves at least an opportunity in the next level.
When you're looking at these two teams, do they play, having not seen them play and playing soccer as a kid, I would still describe myself as a bit of a novice on the topic, but do they play similar styles, or are they fairly different in how they go about their strategy going into these games, especially against tough games against each other?
Well, I've only seen him play a couple of times this week. Montesano, traditionally, when with Fidel Sanchez, it starts at the midfield, and the midfielders speed it up to the wings, and then you get the crosses in. I haven't seen Elma play enough to be able to answer that question, but you look at the makeup, the players that they've got leading the way in the midfield, and then the strikers that they both have, and Beta Valentine and Michaela Stanfield and Ada Potts for the two teams. They're very similar in their skill sets. They both got solid defensive backs. They've got both got good goalkeepers. Riley Timmons, she was one short shot away from a clean sheet in that game. They're pretty as evenly matched, I think, as you're going to see.
I think they are very, very similar. They both have great goalkeepers. They both have solid defensive backs, and a lot of stuff does kind of go through the midfield. I think Elma, likes to play a little bit more from the wings and cross in, while there's a little more of a direct, middle cage approach by Montesano. That was the first time I seen him live. I've seen him on the NFHS feeds, a few times before that, but seeing it live, I definitely got a much better sense of Montesano. And Fidel is a phenomenal coach, and that's another similarity too. You got two coaching staffs that are just on top of their games, and that makes a big difference too.
Yeah, I think when you look at high school sports and the programs that both of these teams have built, I mean, coaching is so important. You see it up and down, whatever sport you're playing, track, football, soccer, baseball. I mean, the program seems to build upon itself, and that starts with the head coach, I think. So I think that goes without saying that these two coaches got this situation working in the right direction. We'll transition now a little bit to football. Ian, you were able to cover Aberdeen and WF West, and just, man, I mean, different year, same story, it feels like, for the Bobcats and the Bearcats.
I think you got to go back to 2007, the last time that Aberdeen defeated WF West, and it's been increasingly one-sided as far as the scoreboard goes. I mean, you can argue the fact that Aberdeen does play well in those games. They just don't get things going their way. Certain breaks don't go their way. It was that way on Friday night. They did a lot of things right. They did not turn the ball over. They worked out a lot of their penalty issues. They started off with a number of penalties, but came back, got it taken care of. They had 3 drives that ended in WF West territory on 4th down plays. They had a runner go for over 100 yards. I would say they ran into a quarterback who played just about as well as I've seen a high school quarterback play in a long time in Gage Brumfield. He was absolutely amazing. We expected him to come in as a running threat. What we saw from him throughout the season, what we saw from him last year when he was a receiver for WF West, but he put on a passing clinic, delivering dime after dime, putting the ball in spots where only his receivers were going to catch it. The Aberdeen just ran into a team that was better than them in this case. They did a lot of things right. They have a lot of things that they can look at as positives to build on, but defensively they ran into a buzzsaw, and his name was Gage Brumfield.
And it also seemed like, Ian, that in the second half, Aberdeen kind of wore down a little bit. It was close for the first half, but then all of a sudden it just kind of started to steamroll through the early third quarter. And then all of a sudden you look up and it's a boat race.
Yeah, I'd say that I'd actually go back a little earlier than that. I'd say late second quarter is where it started to come apart for them. It looked like they were going to get the ball back, and they were down by 7 points, 14-7. And then WF West was able to take the ball down. And in spite of the fact that they had a touchdown taken off the board and faced, I think it was a 1st and 38 after 2 penalties, they didn't show any sign of let up in that situation. They promptly completed a 20-yard pass, got down close, and on 4th down, hit a touchdown pass that was, again, dropped in the back corner of the end zone where only the wide receiver was going to get it. It was a perfect pass. They held Aberdeen 3 and out, did a masterful job of working the clock with their timeouts, got the ball back, and 149-yard pass. They were in the end zone. So almost bing, bing, when it looked like Aberdeen was in a position where they might be able to get the ball back and maybe tie the game up going into the locker room. 14 points were on the board for WF West. It was 28-7, and they had another half to play, but the Bearcats were well and truly in control at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I kind of got that sense. I mean, right after halftime, it just was, you can definitely tell that the levels had found themselves. So, okay. What year is Chehalis's, I can't call him WF West. I've never been able to. So I mean, seriously, that's a Daily World thing. We've never called it WF West. We always called it Chehalis. Yeah.
Why is that?
We always go by the school. Because that's the name of the town, and it's the name of the school. If there's one high school, it's Bunk. There it is. So
So
Hawkinson, yeah, we'll call. Hawkinson has a formal name. Aberdeen technically has a formal name. We still call it Aberdeen. It's just one of those daily world. I ran into that when I first got there. So let's just say it was probably a long-standing style guide. So anyway, Ian, what is the year? What is the year? I know. Yeah, sidetrack. I'm going to get it right back right now. Ian. Sidetrack.
All right.
Now,
after
Ian,
all of that, Gage
after
Brumfield
all of that, what's the year? What year is that quarterback?
he
Because
is a junior. He's a junior. Yes.
Okay, so that'll give an 8th grader out of Chehalis that, by the way, the 8th grade Chehalis football team is coached by a well-known Elma wrestler, Jamie Rakovic. Rakovic is coaching those guys out there, in the 8th grade. I saw that team against Miller a couple weeks ago, and they had a quarterback, I swear, if you put him, you know what, he's not completely built like a high schooler, but let's just say another summer to sprout up. Hopefully he has a year to learn behind this guy, because Chehalis is just they're not even, there's no rebuild. They're going to reload.
Well, they're already loaded. They had I think eight seniors on this team. All of their receivers are underclassmen. 2 of their linemen are coming back. Their quarterback's coming back. After their starting running back was knocked out with an injury, they ran 2 underclassmen, both of whom ran the ball well. WF West is incidentally coached by former Elma quarterback Danny Hill. It's best balls ahead of them. They may be coming into their own right now, but next year they are going to fight with Tumwater for the league championship. I mean, they always do, but I think it's a pretty even matchup next year.
Well, that's not what I want to hear at all, but okay. All right, but the season, just because they lost this game, Aberdeen's season is not over. Their goals at the beginning of the year, I think, take a massive hit. Their goal is to be one of the top 2 teams in this league, get a home game, but they still have that game against Shelton. What do you think their prospects are? Okay, let's say they go into Shelton, they take care of business, they then are on the road but are taken on a 2 seed. Is it as dire straits as it has looked the last few years that Aberdeen's made it into the playoffs, or is a 2 seed beatable?
I'm looking right now at the Greater St. Helens League standings, and 1 through 4, all of them have overall records of 6-2. Ridgefield's 5-1, Woodland's 5-1, while Shugel's 4-2, Hudson's Bay's 4-2. So those are the 4 teams, and then you got Hawkinson that's sitting at 3-3 right now. So they may be able to get up there if they've got a game against one of those teams and can get in there. They may have some Kansas City tiebreakers to determine things. I have no idea. It's going to come down to week 9 to see who they play if they get in. That's the thing, Daniel, is we thought that everything was cut and dry. If Aberdeen loses to Shelton, guess what? We got a 3-way tie again, and 2 berths. Between Shelton, Aberdeen, and Rochester, because Aberdeen beat Rochester beat Shelton, and if Shelton beats Aberdeen, all of them would have 3-2 records in league play, or 3-3 records in league play, and all of them would have the round robin of 1-1 against each other. So it is a mess. We could see a Kansas City tiebreaker if everything I've heard is to be believed. However, if Aberdeen comes out and plays the way that we know they can, if they play the way they did against Rochester, they play the way they did against Prosser, they play the way they did against Toquium, they can win that game.
That makes sense.
If Aberdeen, sorry, Daniel, if Aberdeen actually, as he runs off, I chased him off, Ian. I chased him off. Anyway, I actually honestly think that if they put in the same effort they did as last weekend against Chehalis, that would be a comfortable victory for Aberdeen, because I think Aberdeen is rolling. They're doing, as you said, Ian, they're doing things right. All you have to do is sustain the momentum. sustain the consistency that they've built. They've cut down on those penalties. Thank goodness. How many penalties did Jay Halis come away with, even in the win? You were
17.
I think you 17. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. And they won. So, Aberdeen, if Aberdeen is able to stay consistent, stay disciplined, keep that momentum rolling, this is going to be a very fun night for the Bobcats.
I agree.
All right, boys, we're going to have to move quickly now. We're starting to run out of time. So to make sure I get our responsibilities out of the way, Andrew, I know you're busy with a lot of things, but we are going to go to another commercial break and then wrap it up with some Gulls talk and hopefully pick an athlete of the week before we run out of time. So Andrew, if you can pop up that screen for me, hopefully I gave you enough time even though you're busy. Wait for it.
You can.
And I'm going to start the commercial just because of time reasons. Good old live reads. Spivey Realty Group's goal is to make buying, selling, investing, and renting real estate in Grace Harbor simple. They believe in 100% transparency and unparalleled communication with local expertise, tech-enhanced, and top-notch service for their friends, neighbors, and communities. Their goal is simple. He had a group of strong-willed, hard-working people together who want to make a difference in Grace Harbor and to use real estate as the means of achieving that. Voted Grace Harbor's best real estate company. Find them on Facebook or visit graceharborrealestate.com. Spivey Realty Group, elevating small town real estate. All right. So I got a quick Gulls update, but before that, I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of time to think about this Spivey Real Estate Athlete of the Week that's coming up here. I'm gonna read off our nominations, and then you can think about if you want to nominate anybody else. But at the top of the list, I'm just gonna go down and run through these. Emmy Spencer, El Massacre, clean sheet and key saves in the 1-0 win over Montesano. Miley Seberg, El Massacre, scored the only goal in that win over Monty. Renasia Burtonshaw, a name we're going to be hearing for a long time. She, for Hoquiam Soccer, as an 8th grader, scored 2 goals in her varsity debut on Thursday. Jane Roloff never stops running. And in Hoquiam cross country, she had a 34-second win and her second league championship with a meet course record by 80 seconds with the time of 18 minutes and 54 seconds. That's just ridiculous. We have Caleb Guidino, Hoquiam Middle School cross country. He has come in first in all 6 meets this season. Blaine King, PL Willapa Valley football. He had 10 receptions for 236 yards and 2 touchdowns. Elmer Torres for the goals. He was instrumental in the 4-2 win over Liverpool FC Academy Washington team with 2 goals and 2 assists. Bodie Poehler for Monty football had a rushing and receiving touchdown. Big momentum building plays, I'm assuming according to Justin, but that might be something else. Tyler Johansson for Monty football, solid play on defense, 1 sack, and what is being called the nastiest truck of the year on offense. Doesn't surprise me. He's a big dude. And then 1 more from the Gulls in a 2-1 win. Both of the goals came from the Gulls backup keeper Jazir Arenal, who was filling in at forward since they were shorthanded. It is 6th and 7th straight win as the guys remain in first place. All right, so those are the nominations. Andrew also gave me the option of doing an intermission if we need to. Andrew, are you able to talk on this call at all?
Yeah, can you hear me? I should be.
I'm going to take that as a no.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, there he is. Is that you?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Hello.
So what should we take a break and come back and wrap it up?
We can try. Do you wanna do that?
Okay.
All right. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Probably.
Okay, we're coming back in 5 minutes for the Gulls update, and then also we'll pick our athlete of the week. So we'll be back. Thanks so much for your patience and working through this. All right, so let's see. I think Jane Roloff has to be in the conversation. I think Blaine T has to be in the conversation as well.
Given what
Did any of those stand out to you guys? And do you want me to send you the nominations?
No, I as much as I like what Blaine did, he had someone throwing the ball to him, and Emmy Spencer had defenders helping her. Jane Roloff did that all herself. That's ridiculous. When I saw that, I actually was like, there's got to be a typo here when I sent it.
All right. Welcome back. Andrew, yell at me if I'm not supposed to say that yet, but I'm pretty sure we're back live. And
You've been live
thank you for being
most of the time.
What?
You've been live most of the time. I can't get you muted, and you weren't looking at what I was saying, and I was busy doing other stuff, so I just let you guys talk. I'm glad you didn't say anything
awesome.
you shouldn't say, though.
I was looking at that countdown, so that's hilarious.
Yeah, the what you're looking at is way delayed. That's why the Spivey thing was up for about a minute before you started talking. It's okay. It's
luckily there was no F-bombs, there was no cursing. You know what, guys? We hot mic'd it like the professionals that you guys are, and the dummy right here. So, hey, no worries.
The only thing that was there is a little bit of a spoiler. So,
was there? Who swore?
No, I don't think we swore. I said spoiler. I think we said spoiler. I think
we did. Okay.
I think we're clean there. All right, so I'm gonna read.
And the Rangers just tied it up 1-1. Top two.
Yeah, I'm still rooting for Earthquake in that series.
I'm rooting for Meteor.
Well, I know you Mariner fans should be really angry at this ALCS. I get it.
Yep.
Absolutely get it.
We are.
No. I mean, Jerry Dipoto did us a favor. Come on.
54%.
Oh, boy.
You know what? Here's the thing. I understood what he was trying to say, but he did not describe it very well at all.
Yep.
Yeah. Daniel, I think I sent you that message that said that Jerry Dipoto is the reason that you and I have jobs, right?
Yes. For sure.
Do you guys ever have nightmares that like the head person at the PUD is in front of media and says stuff like Jerry? Like I feel like that would just be like a cold sweat nightmare.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's the update from the Gulls. This is from Coach Eddie. Saturday, members of the Grace Harbor Gulls FC semi-pro men's team teamed up with some of the ladies from the Gulls G05, which is U19 team, to play in Socktoberfest tournament in Lacey at the Rack. Love that facility. Both teams played very well, with one team winning all 3 regular play games and the other team winning 2 of the games but losing to the other Gulls team. That's funny. The Gulls teams were sponsored by MOB, I think that's Mount Olympus Brewing, and Dirt Dogs, and the other by Chavez Beauty School and Edward Jones. So I'm glad some of the businesses in the local community backing them as well. The Gulls Chavez team is the one that made it to the final, but brought home second place. The Gulls also finished second last year. It was awesome to play with Coach Drew, along with some of the teammates from the men's team, and also to not coach but play alongside many of the girls that he coaches in that U19 team. That is from Coach Eddie. Also in regular academy season play, the B11 team, which I had this question last year. I didn't know what B11 meant. I'm used to the U12 verbiage, but apparently B11 is U12. And I think doing simple math, I've figured that out. If you were born in 2011, that's what this team is. Anyway, they lost 3-0. And then he goes on to say that. Oh, wait, here we go. The letter is B or G for boys or girls, and the number following is the birth year. There we go. the G10 team, so the girls born in 2010 team, won 1-0 on the road in Bellingham versus Whatcom County. The only team in the league to beat Whatcom both on the road and at home. The lone goal coming from Anna. This win moves the girls into second place. Also, coaches Eddie and Victor had to leave Oktoberfest early to rush to Bellevue to coach the BO5, BU19 team. The boys won 2-1 with goals coming from backup goalie Jazir Arnall. He's Athlete of the Week nomination. The goals were shorthanded for this week, and Jazir stepped up and excelled. They're very proud of him. With that win, the BO5 team wins 7 straight and remain in first place. Their BO9 premier team played a tough game today, but fell short 4-1 in their final home game of the season. They have 2 more games on the road, and then they head to state. Michael Garcia scored a beautiful goal in that game. A long breakaway. He kept his composure, dribbled around the keeper, and put it in the corner for the goal. Their BU11 and BU10, so their boys U11 and U10 teams are playing. Well, they were playing when he messaged that. The U11 team, then he messaged later and said they got the 5-2 win. They remain undefeated. Allen and Levi went off for this one. Levi had 2 goals, and Allen with 1 goal and 2 assists. John rocked in goal with some big saves, including on a PK. All right. Thank you, Coach Eddie, for those updates. Love to highlight those kids playing club soccer. Now back to the nominations, which we might have spoiled with our hot mic moment because I didn't read the messages coming from Andrew. But Spivey Athlete of the Week. We've got some standouts. Emmy Spencer was awesome in goal. Miley Seberg, we mentioned her. She had the only goal in that game against Monty. Renasia Burtonshaw, an 8th grader for Hoke Williams, scored 2 goals in her varsity debut, and we're going to hear a lot from her throughout her high school career. Caleb Guadino, middle school cross country, has won all of his meets this year. Elmer Torres had 2 goals and 2 assists in a 4-2 win for the Grace Harbor Gulls. Bodie Poehler had a rushing touchdown and receiving touchdown. Tyler Johansson was solid on defense, had a sack, and a nasty truck in their game against Tenino. And Jazir Arenal had 2 goals in a 2-1 win for the Gulls. But I think it's down to these 2 who I left off there. I think it's down to Blaine King for PWV football, 10 catches, 236 yards, and 2 touchdowns. But then you got Jane Roloff, who never stops running, with a 34-second win in her second league championship, and she broke the course record by 80 seconds. That's nuts.
Yeah.
Discuss.
Well, I'll start. I mean, a fantastic. I mean, anytime a receiver catches 10 balls, that's something. But as I said, if or anyone heard during the break, he's got someone throwing it to him. So he's doing that with an assist from somebody else. Awesome performance. But when you are a runner, I mean, we've all been there. We've all been jogging at some point, I'm guessing. And your body tells you to shut down at some point. And it's a case of your mind saying, no, I'm going to go harder. I'm going to keep going. Your body is telling you, lay down on the ground and go into the fetal position. And you've got to be mind over body. And for her to do that and to basically win it by, I mean, I'm guessing that's the length of the 18th fairway that they're running down there at Oaks Ridge. To do that is it just blows the mind. When I saw that, I had to, do a kind of a double clutch there, and like, that can't be right. You can't have broken a course record by 80 seconds and beaten your closest opponent by 30. I mean, that's a double whammy right there. There's no question. And also, it's wonderful that we're giving it to someone when Justin's not here. We're giving it to a Grizzly, not a Bulldog. I mean, it's awesome. Mic drop. I'm done. It's Jane Roloff.
What do you say, Rob?
I'm kind of in the same boat. Not the hey, let's get a Hokum kid in now that Justin's on. Yeah, that is all Ian. We're going to make sure all that we're going to quote that, and that's Ian Cope said that, Justin. Okay, he's probably listening to this, throwing socks at his computer. Okay, so as I stall, yeah, it's Jane. Yeah, individual sports to me always has that extra bumper when it comes to athletes of the week because it is you, yourself, and I. That's it. You're the only person that can control what you are doing. In the other team sports, you have others around you who can help you. But when you come out with such a dominant performance this was a district meet or it's a league meet? Dan,
championships.
Yeah, this was the league championship. Yeah, that is the kind of dominant performance you hand awards over to. It's kind of a no-brainer to me. So, pretty much a lot of the other athletes named did extraordinarily well. I'll be honest, when we started the broadcast, I was leaning towards Maddie. Some of her saves came in a crowd, especially when she's diving down while people are kicking at the ball, which means boots can find faces, ribs, necks, arms, legs, anything else, and that's when you get a clean sheet in soccer, football, you feel it and you earn it. So that was my pick coming in. But you know what? League title, run away with it by 30 seconds, destroy the course record, and do it in a time that is very reminiscent. That is very reminiscent of a state of a qualifier. Absolutely, just put me down. Tally it up.
I love it, especially since when I was gone, Justin, of course, named Montesano Bulldogs. So I feel it only fitting, no matter how deserving, I'm still going to also relish in the fact that we're going with the Grizzlies. So again, congratulations to all the other people who are nominated. And thank you again to everybody who keeps sending in nominations. It has improved the quality of our show a ton to hear about more teams than the specific ones that we're able to get out and watch games to. So again, keep sending those to us. We love talking about them. And the Spivey Athlete of the Week this week is Jane Never Stopped Running Roloff, who dominated for her second league championship. That I think is going to wrap up our show today, unless Andrew screams at me for anything else. Again, thank you so much. Well,
I said, I don't think so. Yeah, I think you're good.
Okay. So again,
you were running. We were on live, right? We just actually made it over the air.
You're awesome.
Yes. All right. That's going to do it for our show. Ian Cope, Rob Burns, thank you so much for filling in for Justin. I really appreciate it, and hopping on. And we almost kept it to 40 minutes, but we ran just a little bit long, so we had to hop on for that second Zoom meeting. But again, thank you so much for joining us. You've been listening to The Scrimmage, sponsored by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz and Spivey Realty Group, the sponsor of our Spivey Athlete of the Week, which this week is Jane Roloff. Again, guys, thanks.